Before this, in our example, we have seen a method that is returning some value. Now let us see one more example where it will not return any value, it will just do an action. If you remember, before this, we had a method of printing the score of a student like this. Let me just copy it. When we were printing some, some letter according to their mark. Now let us create the same example. Let us create a class, public class. How we will call? Let us call is void method void Okay. Now public class method void public. Why it doesn't save as I want? Wait a minute, please. We'll call it method void that Java. Okay, now we call a class. We create a class, public class method void. Kill the brackets. It's in the beginning and it's at the end. Now we will have our method public static void main and string args. Let us enter some mark, and each time let us print the letter according to this score. To be able to use it, we must import our scanner. Import Java util scanner. Then we must create an object of scanner. Scan new scanner system in. Now let us ask, for example, system out println. Our program will ask enter please your score on exam, on quiz 1, for example. Okay. Now what it must print after you enter your score, it must take some integer for our scores, for student score. Let us call it student score. Now I made some mistake. We must start like this. It must be integer student score, which is equal to scan dot next integer. Okay. Then when user enters his mark, our program must print the grade according to the student score. For it, for example, let us use here your mark is. Let us use here some method like your mark is print grade, and here we will write our student score. Now, what does it do? It takes this value and passes it to the student grade method. Now, our print grade method must print the letter according to the student score. As you can see here, this method doesn't return any value. It is just doing an action. The action is printing the grade. Now, what we must do, we must create a method. We must create a method public static void, because it doesn't return any value. Print, it will be called print grade. Now, the print grade will take an argument as integer. Integer will be the score. As you can understand here, this value will come to here and it will print the mark. What does it do? It checks if the score is greater than 19, then it prints A. Else, if the score is greater than 18, it prints B. Else, if, now let us make it like this so you will be able to see the difference. Else, if your score is greater than 17, the program prints C. Also, next, else if your score is greater than 60, it prints the D. And the last, else, it prints F like this. And in the void method, it doesn't return anything. Why? Because let us close our method here like this, because the type of our method is here void. Now we can save and try to print this void method. Where is our cmd? Like here, java c method void that java. It says we have some problem. We must put here not voice but void right here. Also we have yes, we have one more mistake when we are using some method for void. We don't pass arguments. It will be some char c is equal to this, and let us put it here, and we will print here the C. I think like this it must work. When we will try to perform here into some char and call that method, and we will try to compile it, we will also have some problem. It will say that, oh, I can't change it to char. The main problem is here, so that this method print grade doesn't need any other system out printing. You are directly calling for it like this. You write just print grade, and you put here some value like student score. Now when you will save it, why do we put it like this? Because it is by its own making the system out. That is why if I will try to compile, I will not have problems. Let us run this code. when we will run, it will ask enter your mark, enter your score, for example 56, and it says that I get F. I enter 85, it says that I get B. This is how void method is working. But here it is returning integer when we have a method with returning some value. Instead of making it void, you can change it so that it will return some mark. To do it, you will put here char, because it will return some mark. Public static char, it will take score, but here you will not you will not print the system out. You will return a, return some a, and the same here you will return. Let me just copy this one and put it here. It will return here B, it will return here C, it will return here D, big D, this capital D, and it will return here F, like this. What else? As it here now returning characters, we must print it here. So we call system out println, and we will say that your mark is, and we will call our method print grade, and instead of this print grade method, it will give some mark from here. This way our code must work. Let us see, like enter please your score, for example 78, and it says your mark is C. This is the difference between void methods and returning type methods.